It squads, na 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 na. It squads, na 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 na. It squads, do 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 do. It squads, do 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 do. It squads, do 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 do.
Hello YouTube, my name is Paul. Hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back to another Hit Squad video. A series I've been doing now for, I think it's the 5th episode. It won't be more than about 11 in total, but by the time I get to number 11, it could take a number of years. So I'm currently on about 103 games out of the 115 games that are in the collection. And recent pickups just slowed right down to a standstill. I think I picked up an item back in November, I picked up one in December, and so far this year, absolutely soddled whatsoever. But I know there's other collectors out there doing particularly well, picking up games here and there. I know Dave, Retro Games Played Bad, he's picked up a couple of lovely titles. Again, he'll show them in his own pickup video, but I think it takes him to about maybe 10 left to get. Other guys out there collecting are doing quite well. I know there's a guy on Instagram who's recently picked up Hook for the Commodore 64. Now, Hook and Lethal Weapon are two bloody hard games to get on that particular computer, but we know they didn't get ported over to the Sinclair Spectrum. Thank God, because that would be bloody impossible to find. So yeah, I've got a mixture of games here. Some I'm very familiar with, and some games I would have played on the ST and the Sinclair Spectrum, and there's some games here I've never played, and I suppose I can see why, because they're not very good. So yeah, so the first game I got is a game which I remember it coming out or being converted sort of early 1990 for the STs. I remember going to buy it from, where did I get it from? Alexandra Palace. Now, there used to be quite a lot of computer shows back then, back in sort of late 80s, early 90s. Alexandra Palace was one, Elscourt was the other one. I used to go to a gaming market at a horticultural centre or society or in Pimlico or Victoria. But yeah, this next game I remember picking up, a nice frosty day, a bit like today really, it's quite nice outside, it's bloody cold. That's Hard Driving. Now a game you would never have thought would have got a conversion onto the Sinclair Spectrum, because the arcade machine, from what I remember, was quite complicated. I remember sticking the old key and turning it on the ignition and being sort of presented really with some lovely 3D graphics, which was quite different for the time. This is arcade number 40, so surprisingly late release. It does come up quite frequently, not an expensive one to pick up, but yeah, I used to like this game. I used to like playing it, setting the time, and then racing yourself. That was brilliant. It was more fun than actual playing the main game. But you can either go through the stunt track or just go through this, I think it's called a speed track or race track. It's more like of a standard kind of race really. I used to love going up the old loop-the-loop, the drawbridge, the jump and all that sort of stuff. It was fantastic fun. The Sinclair Spectrum version looks really good. It just plays. It's quite jumpy. It's quite hard to control, to be honest. As you can see in the footage, I literally sort of veered off the corner and that was it. I was done for. But the ST I had a lot of fun with, and it's a cracking game to play on the 16 bits, and the arcade version is very, very good. So that's Hard Driving. Next up is a title. I think it's the last of the ones I need to complete that particular subset. I've already got the other two. That's probably giving it away already. And that is Fun School 2 for the over 8s. Again, something I'm never going to put on and play, even though it is actually finally my right age group, being over 8. Yeah, so you've got the blue one, you've got the yellow one, you've got the red one. Now out of 3, this is probably the more difficult one to get, but it's not particularly hard to get. It just doesn't come up that frequently, and it will probably cost you anything between 5 and 10 quid. I've probably seen 3 or 4 copies over the last, well, say 4 or 5 months I've been doing the Hit Squad collection for. But again, it's nice to have it in the collection. It's nice to finally finish. I think it's my second subset I've now finished. That's Fun School 2. Now next up is a game based on a film. I absolutely bloody love the film. But the game is a Predator. The film was absolutely brilliant. Now, not many Arnold Schwarzenegger games were converted to the Sinclair Spectrum. I know Total Recall did, and The Running Man, and Terminator 2. That's 4, so that's not too bad. But this particular game, I've got to be honest, I didn't have a flipping clue what I was doing. So I literally got off the helicopter, walked into the main game, used all my bullets up within 10 seconds. I had no idea how to get any extra flipping weapons whatsoever because I was just getting hammered. I lasted about maybe 30 seconds into the game. It didn't seem like my cup of tea, to be honest. I mean, graphically it's pretty much in monochrome, green and black. Just didn't play very well, I've got to say. This is movie number 8, a very early movie release. Again, a common one, and shouldn't cost you any more than a couple of quid to pick up. That's probably including post as well. So that is Predator. Cracking film, shit game. Now next up is a game I remember really well on the ZX Spectrum. Again, I don't think I ever owned it. I just remember playing it for a friend, my friend Dave. And that is Batman. Which again is an isometric game, very similar to Head Over Heels. I think it was written by the same people, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I played it for about 2 or 3 minutes. I actually quite enjoyed it. I've already sat and read the instructions and played it. I reckon I would actually like playing Batman. I don't think it's a particularly large game. You just go from room to room, sort of saber wall styly, and go picking up objects. I guess you use the objects to progress further into the game. A few enemies to avoid. The actual graphics are pretty good. Now this is movie number 3. It's one of the very few games, I think, looking at the actual Hit Squad collection there. In fact, it might be the only one that doesn't have red writing on the spine. So it stands out a mile. Again, a very common game, doesn't cost much more than a couple of quid either, really. But yeah, lovely to have it in the collection. I would like to play this game a bit more, but yeah, it's got the most unique spine out of all of them in the collection. I don't think there's any others that are like it, to be honest. How bizarre. Right, next up is a game which is based on one of those satirical like programs of the late 80s. I used to love watching the program. It's those stupid bloody puppets, wasn't it? Spitting image. But yeah, they made a game out of it which was a beat 'em up. 1v1 beat 'em up. So yeah, I never played it back in the day, and I never knew for 1 second that's what it was. So this is movie 16. Who do you fight? You can be Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, an Iranian leader, Gorbachev. The other two are the Pope. It's crazy the amount of characters are in there. But yeah, it's a really bizarre game. Again, as a beat 'em up, it's poor. I mean, I literally got bored of it within about 5 seconds. I think there's like about 2 moves. I think you can punch, jump. That's about it. That's about how boring the bloody game is. This one in particular is not, again, that difficult to find. It can go for about sort of 3 to 5 quid. But yeah, it's nice to have it in the collection. I could do with an upgrade with this one because I think my cover's actually a bit creased. But yeah, nothing much, again, to talk about when it comes to that game. It's not a great game at all. Now again, the next one is another one I've never played before. I've seen it. I think I've had it before on the Amiga. I think it was released by Ubisoft. I'm pretty sure. And that game is Pro Tennis Tour. I've got to be honest, whilst watching the demo, because I didn't attempt to play this game, because I'm absolutely crap at tennis games, it looked bloody impressive. Yeah, it's not very colourful, as you'd expect on a Specky, but it plays very, very smoothly. It's got quite big sprites. This is Sports 19. Again, this one's not that easy to get. It can cost between sort of 5 and 8 quid. Doesn't come up that often, this one, but I suppose you could sort of accept the reasons as to why. Can't imagine it sold that well originally, but yeah, it's got a really, well, it's got a pain in the arse sort of protection. That's it, yeah, protection. So you've got to type in the player's name, but literally a list of countries or list of events with the amount of players that play for the last 150 years. It's a nightmare scrolling through and trying to find the right name. I don't think the Hit Squad version has that product protection. Is it product protection? Software protection, whatever it's called. But yeah, a good game by the looks of it. One of the more moderate sort of games to get in terms of difficulty, but yeah, not my cup of tea, got to be completely honest. Now this one I always thought would appeal to me. Again, based on a cartoon, and that's based on a famous film. That's the real Ghostbusters. Now, I remember seeing this reviewed in Sinclair ZX, and I thought it looked bloody awesome. I remember playing the demo of it. This is movie number 15. Again, another quite easy game to pick up. Again, probably shouldn't cost more than sort of 3 or 4 quid. But yeah, I didn't like it. I played it, and I've got to be honest, it's bloody hard. Scrolling's quite jumpy, and I'm not really sure again what the hell to do. I think I got off the first stage for the first time ever whilst doing this video. But I didn't enjoy it, I've got to say. It got some sort of average reviews from what I remember, but it's not a great game. But yeah, I mean, I remember seeing it reviewed. It looked great, but yeah, it was not a particularly good title, I've got to say. Now, the next 3 games I remember very fondly. The first one is a game again I had on the Atari ST. I remember it being delayed by about 6 months on the ST for some reason. Again, I picked up around the same sort of time I got hard driving, and that is the very impressive Rainbow Islands. And the Spectrum conversion is absolutely fantastic, brilliant. It plays similarly to say the ST. It's more jumpy than as you would expect. This is RK41, quite a desirable little title, but again shouldn't cost more than £5. Well, yeah, 3-4 quid maybe. But yeah, as a conversion, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, I can get probably to about World 3, and that was after my sort of first or second attempt. It just goes to show how similar it is to the ST version, really. Certainly one I recommend, and probably one of my favourite platforming games of all time. Definitely is on the Atari ST and Amiga, but the Spectrum version, that is a bloody brilliant conversion, gotta say. But yeah, so next up is another outrageous conversion on the Spectrum. This one was lauded by everybody. Absolutely amazing shoot 'em up. How they achieved it, I don't know. But my best friend Sam had it at the time. He picked this up. I picked up Afterburner. He certainly got the better end of the stick there. That's R-Type. It was an absolutely amazing game. I think I can get to level 4 on this back in the day. My first attempt on this recently, I think I got the first level. But yeah, it's amazing how good this was. I mean, better than any other 8-bit version I can think of. It's probably second only to the Amiga at the 5 home computers at the time. But yeah, this is arcade number 18. Again, quite a desirable title as you'd expect. Again, shouldn't cost more than about 3 quid, which most of these games are quite cheap, to be honest. But yeah, my mate Sam got this. I think it got released by Electric Dreams. I think they also released Afterburner, funny enough. But yeah, it was a cracking game. A game that got a lot of hype. And well deserved too, because bloody hell, it's awesome. Next up is a film tie-in. One of my favourite films, probably based purely on nostalgia, I've got to say. Again, I watched the film after I played the game. Had it on the ST. Brutally hard game. That is the Untouchables. Now, the specky version I cannot get off the first level. Get to about 90% of the evidence I need. This is movie tie-in 21. Again, not an overly expensive one to pick up. But the ST version I can complete. So I think once you get off each stage, you load up the next stage. You don't go back, you just stay where you are. And it's exactly the same on the Spectrum as well. Now the Ams I can get to level 2. And it was really slow. Specky version is bloody hard. But the ST version was brilliant. I thought it was an amazing game. Again, cracking conversion. I think it's got about 6, maybe 7 sub-levels. Or levels, but it's a bit different. Some of them are like third-person shoot 'em up. Some of them are platformers. Some of them are a bit puzzly as well. But I certainly recommend it. But the Spectrum version, you got to have the patience of a saint to enjoy this. It's good, don't get me wrong, but bloody hell, it's hard. And the last one is probably the more difficult one to get out of this lot. But after playing it, I've got to say, it's one of the worst games I've ever played. It looks a bit like American football, but it's not. The game is Cyberball. Again, I picked this up as part of a bundle. It shouldn't cost more than a tenner, maybe 5 to 10 quid. It's not overly that expensive. It's not rare by no means, but it's definitely the more difficult one to pick up amongst this lot. I think I showed you the back already, but yeah, I put it on and I was not impressed. The movement was so slow. It just there's no enjoyment out of that. I literally watched it and I thought, what the hell is this? But it looks like American football just in the future, really. An arcade conversion. I'm pretty sure this was released by Domark. It's an Atari arcade game, I believe. But yeah, that's it. So nothing particularly exciting to show you amongst these games. Nothing overly rare. But couple of cracking games in there though. Rainbow Riders and R-Type do it for me. The rest, pretty run of the mill. A couple of games of flipping crap. And that's it. I mean, if I'm going to pick up any more games in the month of January, I doubt it very much. I'd be surprised if I pick up any more than about 3 or 4 games this year, I've got to say. Unless someone sells their entire collection, that's the only chance really I've got of picking it up. And the other chance you probably have is when people list bundles and they haven't got a clue what they got. I mean, Dave Bursell got an absolute bargain with the Addams Family. I mean, to see 3 copies of that game in the space of a week is bizarre. I mean, one went for £2.50, one went in Dave Bursell's bundle, which was again dirt cheap, really lucky to get it. And another one was on a Facebook group. Someone sold off their whole set and it was in there for about 250 quid. Someone bought it for that. So yeah, it's mad really. So yeah, I mean, I don't hold much hope to pick up anymore, to be honest. But there you go. Thank you very much for following this journey. I mean, we're nearly halfway there now. I've got some good games left to show you. Some of my favourites actually as well, gameplay wise. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. I'll see you guys again real soon. So take care and bye for now.